So this is the top of the Palma lift at the old Nevele ski area. This is the very top of the ski area. As you can see, there's still snow-making pipes here. This whole upper Palma area, I believe, had 100% snowmaking, which is pretty rare, I think, probably for a hotel, even at the time. So you would come up the lift on the right side here of these poles. You'd get off here somewhere in this somewhat flat area, and then you had three choices. You had an expert trail, which is all grown in where the trees are there. You go down to the left, you had a beginner, and then you had an intermediate trail. It was a great place for a kid. You know, I was lucky to ski here probably when I was around 12 years old, so was real lucky. I got to make some turns here. This is the bottom of the Palma lift. We would load over on the right side here, and this was probably the steepest trail here was the lift line, which a lot of times we would fake an injury up at the top there and fall so we could ski down it, but the lifties never really liked that, so we didn't do that a whole lot, but it was a lot of fun. And the trails would come down over here to the right. Great place to be a kid around, 12, 14 years old. On snow days, you'd find a lot of local kids, skiers and snowboarders here having fun. It's amazing how much this place has grown up. All right, here we are at the top of the Nevele chairlift. Back when I worked here, you'd come up here in the morning, there's a propane tank out here, you'd crank up the heat. It was nice and toasty in there, not a bad gig on most days. Some days were total pickup session. People were not getting off the lift, they were falling, you're picking them up. Those days you would work for it. Had an emergency stop switch on the inside and outside here, and also had an emergency trip gate. If somebody stayed on the lift, and they did, I would shut the lift off, and then you would have to go get them down. We had a ladder down here too that we used to use to get people down. It's kind of somewhere in this area where these bushes are. I don't know if I could still find the trip gate. I'm sure it's in here somewhere. I think we'll leave that for now. Certainly changed since the last time I've worked here. Well, let's make our way down to the bottom and see what's left of the chalet. Old snowmaking gun. I think there's some pictures I have from years ago of building a jump somewhere down around in this location. Have to see if I can find those. There's a rope tow down to the right. There's what's left of the chalet. Does not look good from here. It's probably not going to get any better as we get closer. This is the top of the rope tow. There was a 4-plug system here used back in the day. You can see the plugs. There's one here, one there. So if somebody got caught on the rope or they didn't want to let go and we didn't want to send them into the wheel there, it would cut the rope tow off. And the lucky rope tow attendant, which was me, would have to run all the way up here and plug the plugs back in. So this is the bottom of the rope tow. This is where people got on. It's kind of flat here. We really just had one stop and start switch. Nothing fancy. Your rope would come down here around these old rims. I guess your motor or engine that drove it was inside there. And your rope would just head up the hill here. Great place to learn. Teaching here was always entertaining because you would destroy your gloves. You would teach people to slowly tighten their grip on the rope tow, and it would just melt instructor gloves. And of course, as a lifty back in the day, when your buddies were on here, you'd shake the rope tow, try to get them to fall off. That was always Fun little game we used to play. So this is the bottom of the chairlift. One things we used to do in the morning when we got here is we would start up the auxiliary motor. That way if the chairlift broke down, electric didn't work, this engine could power the lift. There's the belt. I'm surprised that's still there. So we'd crank this thing up, run it for a little bit, make sure it was running, and then we would start the lift. And this was a fixed grip lift. So meaning it didn't detach like a modern day chair lift. You would just hold the chair back and let the guest load up and head out. Of course, if it was your buddy, you'd try to slam it into him, or you would give her a little push to the side and see if you could bounce him off tower number 2 there. We used to do that every once in a while. Did get in a little trouble for that from time to time, but that was fun. This was the pump house, I believe. This is where the snowmakers would check in and out. We had a Tucker snowcat that used to sit in here. Man, that's a nice big old electric motor there. This is the one part of the ski operation I didn't really have anything to do with when I was here. Was snowmaking. Still some snowmaking hose here. And this was the office where everybody would punch in and punch out. Time clock, I believe, hung right about here. Some more snowmaking items. This is the Piston Bully barn, as we used to call it. And there is the Piston Bully. Right here is your tiller. I did operate this piece of equipment, and your tiller would raise and lower. That's your tiller right there. And of course, on days when the snow was really wet and dense, and me being a new operator, I would clog this thing up. And I would have to come down and lift it up and chop all the excess snow and ice out of it to free it up to use it again. There's your tiller motor on the back. And here is your front of your piston bully. There is your blade. Unfortunately, the vandals got to this too. Hate to see that. This was a nice piece of equipment. Probably has very little use on it still. I mean, grooming this little hill probably didn't do a whole lot to it. Of course, you've got more snowmaking hoses in here. Here are Palma poles. These are the poles that went on the lift up on the top side of the hill here. I'm not going to call it a mountain. And there's some more there hanging up. So this is the cab of the Piston Bully. There's your engine hours to your tiller. So when you were grooming this would raise and lower your tiller, which of course I would bury in the snow and have to chip the snow and ice out to get it going. This was your on and off. That would be on, that would be off. So when you're grooming, you were looking at this tachometer for your tiller. You run it about two grand, and then over here you had your tachometer for your machine itself. You'd kind of run that 15 to 2 grand if I remember properly. You know, you had forward and back. This would raise and lower your tiller, and I believe this was your blade. You'd push the button and you could do other stuff with it. But it was a nice piece of equipment when I ran it years ago. It's unfortunate that it is the way it is now. I don't know what to say. I can't believe the level of vandalism to this place. This is not how I am going to remember the Nevele and the Nevele ski area. It's wow. It's I don't know what to say. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to walk through here and describe what it was like, what I remember, how I remember this place, how I remember working here, and all the great people I worked with. And then I'm going to get out of here and try to forget that I saw this place this way, because this is not the Nevele I once knew. So most guests from the hotel would approach along the outside of the skating rink here. They'd come down this path right here towards the ski area. There's a trail over there to the right behind the tree there is the chairlift and the rope tow. They would come right through here. And there were some doors here that you could go through, but now we are using different ways to get in. And the guests would come through these doors here, which are now boarded up. We're going to use the new entrance. So your guests would come in here and there'd be a nice fire going. All these windows were beautiful. You could see outside. It was a great place. There was always a big old stack of firewood right here under the stairs. Fire had always had a nice fire going. If they wanted to go skating, they would head through this door, and then they could use the skating rink. The ski area where I worked, they would normally start here at the boot room. They would fill out their form, level 1, level 2, or level 3 skier. Most everybody that skied here was level 1. After they filled that out, a lot of them would try their boots on, and they'd sit right here on this slate right here, put their boots on, and you could hear them coming on the floor from a mile away, clickety-clack. Most of us can't walk in ski boots, but first timers, you can really hear them coming. So then they would come into here, and we would meet them down here on the left. We'd size them up for skis, usually just by height. We had everything hanging up over here. These are really nice racks for skiing, nice hand-built racks. Once we sized them up, they'd come over here. We had a bench over here that 2 people could sit on each side, and we would adjust their bindings up after they got their bindings adjusted for their ability, height, weight. Let's see, there's a form right there, it looks like. They would pop over here to the ski school desk. They would get a lift ticket or a lesson booked, and they would head out to the hill. We used to have a ski school meeting area sign out here, and we would meet the guests out here and take them on their first lesson most of the time. It was a lot of fun. I taught a lot of lessons here. I had a lot of fun, met a lot of people, worked with a lot of great people. That's how I'm going to remember this place. I'm not going to remember it like the way it is now, because this is not the Nevele I grew up working at. I was lucky enough to work here as a lift attendant, a ski instructor, I ran the groomer. I worked at the outdoor pool, the indoor pool, worked at the golf courses. But this right here is just, this is tough to take. I'm not gonna go any further into the hotel because it's probably all like this, and I really don't want to remember it like this. I had a lot of good times out here with a lot of great people. I'm not gonna mention any names because I know I'd forget somebody. Well, we just visited the Nevele ski area, a place I used to work back in the 90s. And now we're ending on a good note here at the Nevele Falls. I'm happy to see this has not changed and been vandalized. Still a very beautiful place. Very peaceful here, always cooler here. So ending things on a good note today. I get to relax here at the falls for a little bit before I head back to the house. Thanks for being here with me today. I hope to see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching.